What if I tell you that some of the most common forms of abuse are the ones no one really talks about because they are too emotional, too sensitive, or done by the very people who loves you? Hey guys, so this is the part 1 of the video in which I'll talk about some of the most common signs of toxic parenting done to you. But in this video, I'm going to discuss 2 points that I feel are the most common ones, but also the ones which are least discussed. And I also feel that these two are very important points for anybody who wants to start their healing journey. And also, this video is quite hard to make for me, but I'm going to make it anyways because I know it will help someone feel seen. So, sign 1, gaslighting disguised as parenting. So, now gaslighting, for those who don't know, is a kind of psychological abuse in which one person makes the other person doubt their own perception of reality. It's like they'll do things to you, but whenever you will try to confront them or even talk about your experience or say them that you are hurting, they'll say, this never happened, this never really happened, or they'll just dismiss your emotions or call you too emotional or too sensitive or question you in ways that will make you self doubt. That's gaslighting. And now we need to understand, why do people do it? Or like, in even in the case of toxic parents, why do they gaslight? Why don't they just accept what they have done to you? Because many times, I'll tell you, adult children, they are now mature, so they don't need someone to, they don't want to play the blame games. Most of the times they are just looking for peace. So when it's crystal clear that all they are doing is they're wanting their parents to just accept what happened and to acknowledge their pain, parents can't even do that. There is a reason behind it. See, the thing with toxic people is that they are unhealed. They have all these wounds, they have all this trauma, and to accept what they have done to you, they have to first of all sit with their own pain. They have to accept their own childhood wounds, they have to accept their own shadows, they have to accept their triggers. They don't have the courage to do it. And the most important thing in this is that to accept the pain that they have caused to you, they also have to accept the pain that led them to cause you pain. And they can't do it. They just cannot accept that pain that made them cause you pain. Also, if we try to see this from a psychological point of view, gaslighting isn't just lying, it's strategic reality distortion. It rewires a child's brain into believing that their emotions are not valid. Like it's literally negative rewiring to a child's brain, especially when it's done by a caregiver, and it really messes things up. Like, it will, with time, it will make the child emotionally numb. They'll constantly doubt themselves, and every time they will try to set a boundary, it will start and bring feelings of guilt, and it's not healthy. Because let me tell you, our childhood, like, I'm all about healing traumas, but it is only because our childhood has a major role to play of in the fact that what we turn out to be as an adult, for ourselves, in our career, with our friends, with our romantic partners. Childhood has a major role to play in it. And such negative rewiring, we don't talk about it, but it's excessively unhealthy, and it's even dangerous after a point of time. It's not good. So the next point of toxic parents is that in their eyes they are never wrong. Now this point might be too deep or too psychological for us to understand at one go, but with a lot of compassion we'll try, because healing requires awareness first. Until unless we are not aware about what's happening, we'll not be able to heal. All right, so let's get into it. So first of all, the thing with toxic parents and toxic people, abusive people, is that we need to understand about the coping mechanism. Listen, they have a lot of guilt in the body. Even if they consciously don't know, they do otherwise. But even if they consciously don't remember, the subconscious brain does. The subconscious brain knows about what they have done to you. Now, their refusal to accept what happened to you or what they did is nothing but a coping mechanism. It's guilt. They are guilty. Like, after months or years, their conscious brain will literally not remember what happened. The subconscious brain stores the memory, their conscious doesn't. Now, the next thing is that even after all of this, their body knows. Body keeps the score, body remembers. In case of both the abuser and the abused. So they have this guilt embedded in them. And because In a scenario where the conscious brain literally doesn't remember what happened, you have to understand the misery. Because, like, imagine there is something happening inside of you, because the body remembers the guilt, right? Nobody's born evil, nobody's born a monster, so their body remembers what they have done to you. They have this guilt inside them. Somewhere deep inside, they have that guilt, even if they're person totally evil or whatever. They have that guilt with. Now, listen, we need to understand one more thing about the coping mechanism of toxic parents, abusive parents, and abusers in general as well. Like most of the abusers is that this is their coping mechanism. They have a lot of guilt in their body. Listen, let's understand it. Even if they consciously don't remember, their subconscious brain knows. The thing is with toxic people is that they don't, as I just told you, they don't have the courage to look within themselves. So like after months or even years, they they consciously try to forget. It's like their refusal to what happened to you or what they did to you is not only to you but also to themselves. Even to them they are lying, because if they accept what happened, if they accept what they did to you, it will break their image of the good one, the good parent. It will break, it will end. So to not get into that guilt and to not get, because they're emotionally immature people, and emotionally immature people don't do self-reflection. They're not that kind of people. Like in the case of emotionally mature people, if you tell them that you're hurting me, they'll listen, they'll apologize, they'll make amends. Emotionally immature people don't do that. They try to run away, they defend, they deflect, because they don't have the courage to do it. Because let me tell you, the inner work takes immense level of strength, and emotionally immature people don't have it. But then also, subconsciously inside, they're always drowning in guilt. I mean, with these people, you don't even have to worry about the karma, because being them is the karma itself. Because imagine the misery, the guilt, the chaos inside them, and they don't even know what's going on. But it's not like they can self-reflect and say, oh, I did this, maybe I should apologize or whatever. So it's a misery. It's chaotic to live like them, with that same bitter heart. Like imagine your lens is always dirty. What's good about that? Like what's even funny about that? Like who can live like that? Okay, so what I'm telling you is not just random emotional stuff. It's very much psychological, that people with narcissistic tendencies try to avoid accountability, to avoid drowning in guilt. It's literally their survival tactics. It's literally that. It's literally psychological. They try to rewire reality by not acknowledgement, but they try to flip the story in their favor. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Like, suppose there is this person A and she's abusive to her children, and like, imagine the abuse stopped now. Like, it's just been 3 months, and now she realized what she has done. So she'll go like, "Oh, I did this. I'm so guilty about it." But now, because abuse is a choice, it's not, "Oh my God, this happened to her, so now she became abusive." Because tell me one thing. Bad things happen to you as well. Did you become abusive? Did you go around abusing people or bullying them or criticizing them? So that's choice to make, right? And abusing is a choice these people make. So now when the moment hit, if it hits, the realization happens. Now the abuse is already chosen. Now it's like addiction. They have already chosen to abuse, they've already chosen to be that kind of person. So now when the moment hits, they'll just go like a moment of, oh, I did this, I shouldn't have. But now when they'll see that their body can't control the abuse anymore, what will they do? Will they stop? Will they try to? Because it's a physical urge in people with excessive trauma. Let's imagine if somebody is abusive because of their trauma, then in people with trauma, it's a physical urge to do things, to self harm, or to harm others, right? So in that scenario, now instead of having that gut, that courage to stop themselves or to ask for help or to go to therapy, what they'll do? What can they do? They'll do the basic thing. They'll start rewiring the story, and it's called, like, let's say it's self gaslighting for a moment. That's what they are doing. Like if the way they are making you doubt your perception of reality, they're doing the same to themselves. Now, my intention to tell you about all of this is to give you an invitation to detach. Stop seeking validation from people who don't even have the emotional or spiritual connection with themselves to be even this much aware about what they have done. people who are not even self aware, people who don't even know about their own actions. Stop seeking validation from them, because somewhere deep inside, especially in case of caregivers, if they have hurt us, we subconsciously try to get that permission, in a way like, you did this to me. We want their acceptance that of, yes, I did this to you, I'm sorry. Because it's not about the sorry at this point. We want a permission that, yes, I hurt you, you are right, you are not lying, you can now go and heal. You're looking for a permission, you don't need that. You don't need permission. Like, for a moment, try to look at them not from the lens of parents, but random people. If they were a random person, eventually you would realize that you need to heal, because they are just like that. And whatever happened to you is not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. So it's high time that you stop seeing that validation somewhere, that you need their permission to heal, or then you need their approval to, or you need their acceptance, and just detach in a healthy way. Detach. Don't think they are my parents, I can't do that. I'm not saying go no contact, that's literally your choice, but detach in a healthy way that protects your mental peace and your mental health.